gonna get started. I wanted to share with you today my journey and more about the Orgasm Trifecta, which is my platform for how we have the best possible sex. So I think it's so important to have great sex because I grew up learning about sex and being able to talk about it if I wanted to with my mom, but I was really shy, and so I a lot of times didn't. And I learned from Cosmo magazine and romance novels, and that really wasn't what sex is. It really is. I thought something was wrong with me when I wasn't having orgasms. I thought when I was in my mid-20s, I thought I just wanted more sex, but what I found is that I wanted better sex. And I didn't even know what that looked like because growing up in school and in society, as women, we're taught that there's consequences that come with sex, but we don't get taught about the pleasure. And so I was in a conversation with a girlfriend one time, and she's like, I don't think that you maybe have had an orgasm. She's like, I realized I hadn't. And so we started talking, and I realized that I hadn't had an orgasm, and that was something that I was missing in my life. I didn't know why I wasn't as confident as I wanted to be, wasn't as joyful. And I realized we never learn about pleasure, that as we go through, growing up, Hi, if you could just mute yourself as you're coming in.
Hi.
Hi. That, what shifted in my life was completely different, from what we were taught, that sex has all these consequences as women. And then when we get into a relationship, we're expected to want to have sex all the time. And we can go all into all the reasons why a lot of times we don't want to have sex, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about really what orgasms can do in your life and what the orgasm trifecta is and how it changes who you fundamentally are to be a better person. And we have in our society, like I was mentioning, that we are taught that it's just consequences, but we're also taught that bodies look like this, or now with porn accessible to everyone, men are learning that that's what they think that sex looks like, that it's pounding, it's females making noises, and not really based on pleasure for the woman. And that when you watch TV, you watch Bridgerton or Titanic or any of the movies that have these really great orgasmic sex scenes, that you think that, oh, everybody's having that. But really, that's not how sex usually works. 80% of women don't have an orgasm from penetrative sex alone. And so I always thought something was wrong with me. I hear this all the time from women that, oh, something's wrong with me. I can't have an orgasm. My guy says that I'm the only one he's been with who isn't having orgasms, and he's tired of struggling with it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not broken, that it is what society's teaching you, not that your body, something's wrong with you. And I really thought I was the only woman in the world not having orgasms based on what I saw, and it wasn't true. When I started having these conversations with other women, most women don't have orgasms from intercourse. And so today we're going to talk about all of that. And if you're just coming in, please make sure that you're muted so that we can, because we are recording this, and then we'll be able to send it out to you if you want to rewatch it. So the problem that we see with orgasms is that, over the last 25 years, I've talked to hundreds, even thousands of women about what they think their sex life should look like, what they think their orgasm should look like. And there's a lot of frustration going on out there. And I want to share with you, first of all, what having orgasms did for me. Well, when I first had one, I was like, why don't we teach every woman this? And this was when I was in my mid-20s. I know women that are in their 40s that are having their first orgasms, women in their 60s that have never had an orgasm. So it's never too late to learn, because it does shift your life. And how it shifted my life is that it gave me a confidence that I didn't even know I was missing. It allows me to continue to grow in my life and always ask for more and ask for what I want. And so I think that's really important, to be in alignment with what you want and to know that there's more out there, that it's not just in the bedroom, but it's beyond that. It's, yes, the orgasms in the moment are fantastic, but also everything that happens in your life that shifts is even better. So for me, I asked for a position when I was asking to, in my job, to try to get more money. I got over 300% more than what anyone had ever gotten paid in that position, because I asked for it. And I want to talk right now about the pleasure gap, because the pleasure gap really correlates to that gender wage gap. That men masturbate about 20 to 30% more than women, and that is the same as the gender wage gap. If you look at 80 cents on the dollar for Caucasian women, and it just goes down and down from there. So when women know their bodies, when you have confidence, it gives you a different power. And that's what it's done in my life, is given me power to do what I want, to ask for what I want, whether it's the first time I'm having sex with someone or we've been together for years, because we haven't been taught about having those conversations either. So having those conversations with your partner are really important, or potential partners. And that's a whole nother part of what we're going to go into today with the orgasm experience. But I just wanted to mention that the pleasure gap is real, and it's my goal in life to close that pleasure gap and teach women how to have the orgasms of their dreams and love the body that they have right now, because we're going to talk about that part in a minute as well. But before we get into that, I wanted to give you an invitation and let you know that I'm accepting applications for the next round of the orgasm experience. And at the end of this training, I will definitely give you all the details of orgasm experience. I just wanted to mention it right now and give you a quick invite in case you need to jump off. If you are looking to work with me, this is my entry-level program, and it comes with direct support from me. I usually have it video recorded. This time I'm going to be doing a combination of live and video recordings. So if you're looking to work with me, this is a great way to start. Totally transparent. It's a $3,500 course. It's over 12 weeks. But because we're not starting till the end of August, you have a great, beautiful opportunity. And because I have some bonuses for those of you who act at now in the beginning. And so you get a couple bonuses. You get a private jump in the sheets session with me. Literally not in the sheets, but it's what my jumpstart call is. It's a 30-minute call with me. There is an option for an extended payment plan if that is something that you need. That option does go away at the end of the month. So at the end of May, that extended payment plan does change. So message me the words between the sheets if you would like to have access to the application, and then I'll go into the full program at the end. So we talked a little bit about the problem in society and what we're made to think we should be doing. I get so sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, you just need to get out of your head. You just need to calm down. You just need to try this and do this. And it's never just one thing that you need to have amazing orgasms and great sex. And I say sex, and I want you to know that that's sex with yourself or with a partner. Great sex can begin in many ways, and it's usually not just lacking one thing. And this is what I call the orgasm trifecta. It's my signature system that really goes into all the different parts of our bodies and our mind and our psyche and everything. So we're going to go into that. I call it body, mind, vulva, and that's the orgasm trifecta. But let's start with, what is an orgasm? An orgasm is a convulsion unlike a seizure in your body, and it's a muscle response and a bodily response to pleasure. And you ever are wondering if you've had one or not? If you are wondering, you have not. They can be light, they can be a little flicker to convulsing all body. And it's really important to know your body, because that is a big part of the trifecta. So let's start with mind. Mind is where arousal starts in the body with women. And the mind is the main step that I'm going to be teaching today, but I want to go through all of the steps so that you know what they are. So mind is that mental, emotional, and psychological piece. Then we have body, which is biological, it's hormones, medications, things like that are happening. And then vulva, your physical conditions, your anatomy, all kinds of things like that. So today we're diving into the mental part, the mind, and this is the step one of the process that I teach in the orgasm experience. And you may think that the problem is that you're not orgasming or you can't get there, but it's really more about what you're not experiencing in your life. Yes, orgasms are great, again, at the moment, but it's what it does for you and how you react and show up in the world. If you've ever been in a room where someone walks in and their energy is just different, that it attracts you, that it is magnetizing, that everybody's head turns, that is sexual power, and that comes from orgasms. It doesn't come from anything else. You can have all the confidence in the world, but I can tell you if you've had an orgasm in the last week or not. It's kind of my superpower. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. But so the mental part, the mind, for women, arousal starts in the brain. For men, it starts with blood flow to the genitals. So our bodies work very differently. It can be emotional things that have happened. It can be love, or that you're not in love with the person. There can be emotional thoughts that are coming up. It can be that you're not aroused, that you're not thinking about sexy things. And these all come into play in the mental piece. It's traumas that have happened that are held in our brain and in our body. You know, I hear a lot of times, I even saw this today, that a doctor recommended, oh, well, you just need to have a glass of wine and relax in order to have an orgasm. Or you just, you probably have something going on in your relationship, so you should probably go to therapy. because something's going on. Not necessarily. It can be waning connection. So if your partner has gained a little weight, or you're just, most of the time it's that they did something that pissed you off and that you have some resentment. I had one client that when we were digging into why she didn't want to have sex with her husband any longer, and it came back that it was something that happened on the night before their wedding. And she'd held that in for over 20 years that was keeping her from wanting to have sex with her husband. You know, you hear a lot of times, oh, you just need to get out of your head. Or you think that, like, oh, I just can't relax. I can't get out of my head. It takes too long. I've got too much going on. Or that we've been programmed with sex is for procreation. Good girls don't do that. You know, things like that. Or you don't want to get pregnant, and so you're worried about that. Or you're worried about if you may get a disease or an STD or monkeypox, whatever is happening that can be going on in your head. But when we focus on pleasure, it changes things. It gives you confidence. It releases stress in your life, and it allows you to go through life with more grace. So think about what that would mean in your life. I want to tell you about some of my clients that have gone through the orgasm experience. Camille was in my course, and she has been married for now probably over 30 years, and she had never had an orgasm from vaginal penetration ever in her life until she took my course. And that just gave her, one, she was so confident then that it could happen, instead of always wondering if it was going to happen. And so it was, that was what was holding her back a lot of times in her mind, is that she was concerned that she wasn't ever going to have an orgasm. So she would try harder and then get in her mind and really, really struggle. Then, you look at what's really happening, and a lot of times this is where we go into the more vulva area, where we think foreplay should just be clitoral, but foreplay actually begins in the mind. It goes from experience to experience, and it's mental, so it's erotic. You can start by reading some erotic fiction or listening to erotic fiction. A lot of women are really loving having audiobooks of fantasies and romance novels on their phone, so you can listen to it anytime. So that foreplay piece can be really vital of how to start to get into that. Learning how your body likes pleasure. So one of the key things that we start with in the orgasm experience, we do start with this mental piece, but a lot of that is focusing on the pleasure that's happening in your body. So really exploring your five senses, going, okay, even though my mind is wandering, because it always will, we're women, our minds are circular, and we go into all the details of this, that our minds are circular. And so yes, our minds are going to be able to wander, but it's getting back to what's going on and really focusing on the moment that's happening and learning those techniques and how to do that. Then you can, once you learn these techniques of the mindset and clearing the blocks of traumas and resentments, we can really help you then get into the next part, the body part and the vulva part, and, you know, learning more about your body just with anatomy. This is the full clitoris. It wasn't discovered and being able to be mapped until 1998. It is an amazing thing. This is what we see outside the body. Let's see where my camera is there. So that's what you see with the little clitoral hood. And then this is the full thing. And there's actually 2 longer nerves that go along and hook into the back of the sacrum. So it's even bigger than this. And you'll learn all about that and all about your anatomy that you may not have even known. In fact, I teach doctors all the time, and it's amazing what our doctors and OBGYNs don't know about our bodies. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about a couple of ways that some of my clients have utilized and how orgasms have changed their life. Kim is one of my clients, and she took the orgasm experience. She said it was the first course that she's ever taken that focused not just on the clitoris, but actually focused on the whole body and the whole vagina and vulva area instead of just it being for reproduction. It really has helped her learn to love her entire body, and having multiple orgasms now and having that ability to do that really has helped her manage her chronic pain. Another student of mine, Teresa, came out of a sexless marriage and had never had an orgasm with a partner, and she went through the gray divorce and now is with a partner that she loves, and they have great, amazing sex. She writes to me all the time saying, I didn't think sex could get any better, but it is better every single time. And it's just such a joy to feel her energy, because I know what that does in women's lives when that energy is there. She's like a whole new person from when I first met her. And then for me, you know, I mentioned at the beginning that it gave me confidence. It gave me the ability to get raises and things like that. But it really gives me the confidence to change the world one orgasm at a time, because I'm very shy and very introverted. I know most people don't believe that, but I am. And I have the confidence to do whatever I want. And I know that in my own body that I have the power to have the orgasms that I want. That for me, it's not that I wasn't just orgasming, I wasn't fully living my life. And now that I orgasm and know that it's a given, and yes, 99% of the time I do orgasm. There's sometimes that my hormones just aren't at that right level. Doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it, but it does happen sometimes, very rarely, because I have all the pieces put together, but it does happen. And then that's learning the communication piece of being able to tell your partner, like, hey, I'm just not going to get there. You don't have to keep trying because I'm having a great time. You've already had an orgasm, maybe 2, and I'm just having a good time. I'm not going to get there today, and that's totally fine. So this is necessary in your life. It's just, I can't stress enough of how orgasms change your life. And I want this for all of you, because you're here for a reason and you're paying attention, and it's really about what it does for you as a person. I work with a lot of other coaches because a lot of times their clients are not getting the value out of the program that they're in, because it actually starts with sexuality. That life force energy comes from our genitals. As women especially, it is what brings life to the earth, and we need to experience the pleasure that goes along with that, not just in the bedroom, but the pleasure that it can bring to our lives. So I promised you at the beginning that I would go through what is going to be in my most popular class. Well, most popular besides orally speaking. My blowjob class is very popular as well. But my signature class and the most popular besides that is called the Orgasm Experience. It's 12 weeks of videos and live courses and support and access to all that you desire. It's, again, the whole orgasm trifecta that we dive into each piece, the mental that we talked about today, and hopefully you got a couple of tips that you can do to just focus on the moment and focus on bringing yourself back to where you are. And we go through how you can disarm those mental blocks and limiting beliefs and all the shame that comes around with sex, and learn to love your body. And then we talk all about body, all about anatomy, positioning, muscle tone. It's such a huge amount that we think of it's just in the mind, but it's not. Big component is the muscle tone of your pelvic floor muscles, and how you can just have these amazing orgasms from penetration, because when you have a toned pelvic floor, you are able to access parts of the vaginal canal that you aren't normally accessing if you have an untoned pelvic floor. And then, of course, the physical part, the vulva, and being able to breathe with your vagina, be able to work with movement and communication, and you'll just become a new woman. You'll stand in the power, and together we can close the pleasure gap. So I know what happens for me when I am not in alignment. If I stop having orgasms, if I am too sick to, self-pleasure, or my partner and I aren't seeing each other for a while, I know that it totally drains my energy. I'm not productive. I don't have the confidence. I don't want to go outside. All these things that are a stressor in my life that I don't even realize. So I make sure that I have orgasms as much as possible, but I'm human. It doesn't always feel like the right time, or I'm busy but it lowers the stress level in my life so much that I don't want to overlook that piece, because stress causes all kinds of diseases in our life, and the health benefits of orgasms alone are phenomenal. Many of the doctors that I'm starting to work with in other countries are suggesting and prescribing orgasms for menopause, for chronic pain. We're working with a doctor in Aruba, an OBGYN, that is so fascinating, the things that she's doing with prescribing orgasms. It's really phenomenal to see that starting to happen, because I think men have always known that orgasms are really healthy and cure a lot of pain and suffering. I've done quite a few videos on the health benefits, so you can look back through my feed, but cuts down on heart disease, helps with your cardiovascular system, your skin looks better, you have less lines, wrinkles, and cellulite, it produces collagen, it helps you sleep better, less depression, boosts your immune system, all those wonderful things. So those are the things that physically you'll feel, but you'll also be able to lower your stress, because you don't have to worry if sex is going to be satisfying, if it's going to take too long to get there, or if you're struggling and your partner's struggling to get you there, that it kind of kills the mood. And you have to just keep trying, and you're like, I'm just going to fake it because it's easier. And then faking perpetuates poor behavior, because then men think that every woman is getting orgasms, but really a lot of women are faking it. So again, the orgasm experience begins at the end of August. We have an extended payment plan option if that's what you need. If you need to allocate your money throughout the next 5 months, then we can do an extended payment plan. Again, that goes away May 31st, so next Tuesday. And you can just shoot me a message if you're interested in this. If you're ready to sign up, you can tell me that, but just shoot me a message with the orgasm experience as the words if you are ready to sign up, or say between the sheets if you'd like more information. And I'm going to ask you some questions, and we're going to focus on the orgasm trifecta in the course. And it really does change my life. And it will change yours. It's changed my clients, and it gives you the confidence and grace to walk through life a different way. So again, we have the early bird special. Send me a DM if you are interested, and we can go from there. The confidence that you will exude and the pleasure you'll have in your life is life-changing. So I hope this helped, and thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.